everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Casca and I like to make things. In today's video I'll be making a pinafore and a pirate shirt. It's getting really autumnal here, the leaves are falling off the trees and everything's all colourful, and I really wanted to make an outfit that wouldn't look out of place rummaging around a pumpkin patch. Looking through my sewing inspiration Pinterest board, I noticed that the vast majority of stuff on there is history bounding and cottagecore, with a lot of pinafores. I've not actually worn a pinafore since I was a little kid, which I find surprising because they're super cute and they're really versatile. You can completely change the look of it depending on what you're wearing underneath. Speaking of what I'll be wearing underneath, I'm also going to make a simple pirate shirt, which I think is a great staple to have in any history bounding wardrobe. I'm going to be making mine black because goth, but at some point I'd like to make some in a bunch of different colours. Okay, so for the pinafore, what I decided to do was, because I did look for patterns online, looking at sort of like vintage, like 40s, 50s style pinafores, and although I found lots of reference images, which I will be referring to, I'll put them up around here, pattern wise, they were all around a tenner, and it is not within my budget to be spending £10 on something that theoretically I could just mock up myself. So what I did was I used this. This is a block pattern that I made using my measurements while wearing a 1950s style bullet bra that I made. I might do a video on making a bullet bra. If anybody is interested in that, let me know in the comments. But yeah, this is my basic bodice block for vintage stuff. And from here I was able to get these. That was the back and that was the front, and it should just have a nice taper, so come like from the chest and then just taper down. There will also be some straps which I want to have coming up and then crossing over at the back. That seems to be quite a popular style for the times, and I think it looks really cute as well. Fabric wise, I got this off Etsy. It's a 100% cotton linen look fabric because linen is very expensive. This has got a really nice weight to it and should have a good drape. So, also the colour's really pretty and quite autumnal, so yeah. Fingers crossed this should work. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of floor trolling for this one because the circle skirt is going to be massive and there is no way my table that's like that wide will be able to accommodate it. I refolded my fabric so that I'd have 2 folds on either side. This way I could minimise the amount of fabric length I was using. I made myself some facing pieces as well as some shoulder straps. I decided to make the shoulder straps about 2 inches wide. This way they'd be nice and chunky, but not too big. did so much faffing trying to work out measurements for this circle skirt. Okay, so after much playing around, I worked out that I didn't quite have enough fabric to lay out the circle skirt the way I wanted to. So I'm trying to wrangle it a little bit. It might not end up being a full circle skirt at this rate, but I can settle for like a 3/4 circle skirt if it means I can get the correct length that I want. I redrew my skirt pattern, making as much use as possible of the fabric. I was able to get something reasonably flowy while getting the correct length. I then stitched down my seams. I decided to use French seams on the back seam and one of the side seams, just to minimise having to finish the inside later. The side with the zip, I decided not to do a French seam just because I've got no idea how to add a zip to a French seam. I then added my facing pieces to the bodice section. In hindsight, I shouldn't have done this at this point. I did a nice little rolled hem at the top of the facing, then clipped my corners and folded the whole thing to the inside. Next, I stitched my darts on the front bodice section. I then attached the front and back pieces together, leaving one side open for the zip. To attach the skirt portion to the bodice section, I added a row of gathering stitches and eased the two together. I then had a go at doing a lapped zip. This wasn't 100% successful, but I tried. I then stitched down the long sides of my straps and turned them inside out. There was footage of this, but the sun suddenly came out, so it was super blown out. I attached them to the back of the bodice section. Again, in hindsight, if I'd left the facing piece till last, I would have been able to encase that. I tried on the Pinafore just to work out where exactly I wanted the front straps to attach. I then cut the front of the straps into shape. I decided to have a little point, I thought that would look quite cute. I then top stitched the little pointy bit down. Button time. I have got a lot of buttons which I recently sorted out into colour, which I'm very thankful for. I went through them and worked out what buttons would work best. I narrowed it down to 2, but the smaller ones were just too little. I wanted something nice and big, bit of a statement. I then stitched my buttonholes. This is actually my first time using an automatic buttonholer. I wasn't 100% sure how they worked at first, but it's quite good. For the hem, my original plan was to use some bias tape and fold it over that way so it wouldn't be as bad with it being a curve, but I was just short on my red bias tape and I thought black would be, it'd stand out a little bit too much. So instead I did a 1/2 inch and then a full inch. You'll notice that as I'm stitching it, there's little tiny tucks. That's naturally going to happen because of the curve. It looks okay from the outside though. I do my best to kind of ease those tucks in like evenly along the length of the hem. Next I attached my buttons. Always fun playing the game of trying to find the hole from underneath. I didn't forget pockets. I decided to do patch pockets because I thought they'd look super cute. I made sure to make them big enough to hold my phone, always important. I cut out the pockets and then added a little facing piece. I used the salvage edge for this so that I didn't have to do another hem. This was then folded to the inside of the pocket and ironed flat. And the final step for the pinafore was to top stitch the pocket to the pinafore. Okay, so this is the pattern that I've got for the peasant slash pirate slash cottagecore top. I did get some fabric originally that was the same material as I'm using for the pinafore, but it was a bit too heavy for a shirt. So, wanting next day delivery, I ordered some fabric that said that it was by the 1/2 metre. Because I wasn't paying attention, I thought that meant that it was priced by the 1/2 metre, but no. I got 4 1/2 metres, which meant that it's actually too narrow for my pattern. So I can't go with the original kind of just one big rectangle that I was going to go with, I've had to make a change, and that change is going to be a yoke. So I've got my top section here, which I've brought up, because I'm going with a yoke, I've brought the neckline up a bit, just because I think it's going to look a bit odd if the neckline's too low and too next to the yoke. And then I've got my main bit, which is basically just a big square now, and I'm going to make this much wider and then have some gathered bits, like a bit at the front and a bit at the back as well. Also, this, I'm not sure if it's my iron or that the fabric, or something to do with the fabric that I'm getting, but this was ironed. It was steamed and ironed, and it has still got wrinkles in it after coming out of the wash. So I'm thinking at some point a new, better iron might be in order. So it's going to have to just be wrinkled while I'm cutting it out, and I'll try going over it again once it's constructed. And this is the pattern that I've got for the sleeve. It's basically a big rectangle with a curvy bit at the end. For a really good in-depth tutorial on making a big poofy sleeve like this, I'd recommend going to the Closet Historian's channel and looking for her peasant shirt tutorial. I'll leave a card and put a link in the description as well. Sorry, this is kind of cut off in the frame. For some reason my zoom lens has started playing up and I'm not 100% sure what's wrong with it, so I'm having to use my 50mm prime, and there's only so far I can get it up high. As you can see, I have pleated these little bits of the pattern here. This is just because the pattern was about an inch wider than the fabric. But I want to keep this pattern because it's a nice sleeve pattern. So I've just had to squish it in a little bit so it'll fit. I can just round off this end here where it's got a little bit stoop. You know what I mean. Decided I'm going to give myself an extra 6 inches on each side for my gathers. I wanted to do like a really pretty slow-mo stylistic threading the bobbin kind of thing, but I decided to put fake nails on, and it's hard. It's not as graceful as I thought it was going to be. I did 2 rows of gathering stitches on the front and the back piece. These were then gathered down and attached to the yoke. I stitched together the shoulder seam of the front and back pieces. I then attached the sleeves to the area where the shoulders would be. With this basically just being a giant rectangle attached to another giant rectangle, it's actually really easy to attach the sleeves. The one thing that I did have to be careful about though was making sure I knew which was the front and which was the back. Just because with the sleeve having more fullness at the back, it would be really obvious if I got it the wrong way around. I stitched along the inside edge of the sleeve and then down the side of the shirt. This joins the two sides of the shirt together as well as completing the sleeve. I cut a slit down the front. I decided to machine finish my seams. This was just for quickness. I then made a little facing bit for the neckline. The front and back facing were attached at the shoulder. And then the whole facing piece was attached to the shirt. This was then folded under, pressed and top stitched. I used bias tape to finish the hem as well as round the edges of the sleeves. I then added a little thin strip of bias tape about 2 inches up from the bottom of the sleeve. This was to encase some elastic in there, so I'll get that nice kind of ruffliness at the end. I'm so pleased with what I was able to achieve. It looks so good, especially the Pinafore. Like, I love the way it looks. It's all squishy and fits really, really well. I know I should have done the facing bits further towards the end. My thinking was that it would be a lot easier to do it at the beginning when everything's kind of flat. But now I've ended up with a situation where I've got a seam here. That would have been hidden if I'd put the facing bits on after and then folded them in. You live and learn. I now realise you can't make that shortcut if you want it to look neat. Also, the lapped zipper I tried to do didn't really work. I'm not sure if it's that I did it wrong or I don't know. It just kind of, it sticks out a little bit here. At the end of the day, nobody's going to notice that. If somebody's coming up to me and going, your zipper sticks out a little bit, that's a them problem, not a me problem. The pirate shirt also fits really nicely. The only thing is, I think it's a bit baggy at the back. Next time I do gathers at the back like that, I'm thinking I'm going to do just a small section in the middle, because I think I ended up with too much fabric at the bottom and it's kind of fluttery. So yeah, it kind of makes it stick out. Bit tenty. But most of the time I'm going to be wearing it tucked into things, so that doesn't matter. It's still a perfectly wearable item of clothing, which this will be going into my wardrobe now. I'm definitely going to wear it. Look at these sleeves, they're so pretty. I really like them. The other thing with the pirate shirt that didn't go exactly according to plan was this little slit. It doesn't like to be straight. I'm not sure if that's because of it being tucked into things, where everything's on top of it, or something I've done in the sewing. I'm thinking maybe attaching like a little drawstring might help that. Also, it was supposed to just be a slit, but I wasn't really paying attention when I was sewing, so I ended up going down and then across and then up, so it's ended up being more of a wedge. That's fine though. Again, nobody's going to notice. People will just assume it was supposed to be like that. I'm really pleased with these makes. I'm happy that I'm going to be able to include these in my regular wardrobe, especially the Pinafore. I'm going to get so much wear out of this thing. I did plan on getting some lovely autumnal footage for you with all the pretty leaves in the park and stuff, but the weather wasn't on my side, unfortunately. If you enjoyed this video and fancy giving it a like, it would be very much appreciated. I'm always open to your suggestions and constructive criticism, so anything you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to see more videos of me trying to make things, then why not subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified next time I upload a video. I do my very best to upload a new video twice a month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!